Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of Medieval History Part 4. In today's session, we are going to discuss the topics that we need to cover in the medieval history. So far, we have discussed about the introduction of the invaders in our country. We talked about Delhi Sultanate and their administration and all. Let's read further and see that what happened during the Mughal times. So before we start, basically, the images, text, and other materials used in our presentations are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the same. So first, we need to introduce that what we are going to discuss today. So Mughals were descendants of two great lineages of rulers. So basically, we all know that Mughal word come from Mongol, and they were descendants of two famous invaders or rulers of the world. One was Genghis Khan, the other one was Temur. But if you go into the text of written by Mughals of those times, so according to them, they were more close to the Tamur. So that is according to the Mughals, but we know that they are descendants of Genghis Khan and as well as the Tamur Lang. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. He was related to Tamur from his father's side and Genghis Khan through his mother. But as I was saying earlier, so he particularly represent himself more close to Tamur. And if we discuss about Babur, so Babur was basically born into the Chagatai clan of the Mongols. So that is why he also wrote his autobiography in Chagatai Turkish language. Babur succeeded his father as the ruler of Fargana, that was Uzbekistan, and but soon lost his kingdom. So there was a story that Babur was made the ruler of Uzbekistan, and today's time, or at that time, was known as Fargana. And but at particular that time also, Babur was in dispute with his family, and because of which there were certain things happened, and Babur lost his empire to his relatives, and because of which he had to move towards Kabul. So there was a time when he was in dispute between Fargana and Samarkand, and while fighting for both the particular states, Fargana and Samarkand, he lost both of them, and he was forced to move towards Kabul. He remained with his uncle in Tashkent for some time, but later he got the control of Kabul and later became the controller or the king of Kabul. Financial difficulties, apprehension of Uzbek attack on Kabul, and invitation of Rana Sanga to invade India forced Babur to look towards India. So after he became the controller of Kabul, he was also in kind of a fantasy or kind of a thing that he wanted to take the control of Samarkand as well, because Samarkand was his always was in his dream to be controlled by him. But because of attacks of Uzbek, he was not able to do that. And those times he was also getting the invitation from Daulat Khan Lodi, the Lodis who were not in favor of Ibrahim Lodi, and as well as according to some historians, Rana Sanga was also inviting him. So that is why he looked towards India and started moving towards India and attacked and fought a war, that is the Battle of Panipat, the first Battle of Panipat in 1526. So that was the time when Babur was basically coming towards India and he started creating his empire in India. Let's read more about him. So Babur was the king from 1526 to 1530 AD, and he fought certain wars in India in chronology. So first one was the first Battle of Panipat 1526. The Babur decisively defeated Ibrahim Lodi. This was the first battle in India in which artilleries were used by Babur. Babur was short in number, but because of artilleries and the tactic he was using against Ibrahim Lodi were successful, and Ibrahim Lodi got killed in this battle. It was a short battle and won by Babur, and it replaced the Lodi and established the Mughal era in India. And as we know that he was invited And the people who invited him, they were thinking that he is a kind of a mercenary and he will come defeat Ibrahim Lodi and went back to Kabul, but not that was not in his in the thoughts of Babur. Babur came, defeated Ibrahim Lodi, and now he was taking the control of these regions, and that is why he got into dispute with Daulat Khan Lodi as well, Rana Sanga as well. So there were certain other wars happened at those time in those times as well. Like the reason for Babur's victory, before we move further, so there were certain reasons of his victory. Alternatively, resting one wing of army, services of two Ottoman master gunners, Ustad Ali and Mustafa, use of gunpowder, scientific use of cavalry and artillery tactics, Tulugma and Araba, effective use of cannons. So these are some of the things that were used in those times, so like the gunpowder, artilleries, the gunners like Ustad Ali and Mustafa, and Tulugma technique. Tulugma technique means one flank will attack, the other flank will remain silent. And this is the kind of a tactic that was used by Babur in those times. Then comes the Battle of Khanwa 1527. Babur defeated Rana Sanga and assumed the title of Ghazi. So this was the first kind of a battle between the Mughals and the Rajputs. And this battle was fought between Rana Sanga and Babur, remember that. And during this battle, Babur gave the war cry of Jihad, and also Babur took the oath to never touch the alcohol from now on. So that was all done during the Battle of Khanwa, and after defeating Rana Sanga, he got himself the title called Ghazi. Then the Battle of Chanderi. So as soon as the Rana Sanga was defeated, his friend, the Medini Rai, was on the way to attack Babur, but Babur surprisingly attacked on Medini Rai, and that is why the Battle of Chanderi happened in the very next year, 1528, and Medini Rai was defeated, and with his resistance across Rajputana was completely shattered. So this was another decisive battle for Babur. Then the Battle of Ghagra, 1529. Babur defeated Mahmud Lodi, who aspired to the throne of Delhi. So these are the four battles in chronology. Babur fought in Panipat, Khanwa, Chanderi, and Ghagra, 1526, 1527, 1528, and 1529. So do remember them. And the very next year in 1530, Babur died of some kind of illness. So that were some of the important wars Babur fought in those times. Let's read more about it. Significance of Babur's advent into India. So Babur introduced char bags and symmetrically laid out gardens. So if you ever visit Taj Mahal, and you will see that there is a fountain in the middle and a kind of a garden area besides it and a monument just behind it. So this is the way of gardens that were brought by Mughals into India, and they were known as char bags, and this is the kind of a system that was introduced by Babur. Built mosques at Panipat and Sambat in Rohilkhand. So these are some of the things that were also introduced in these areas. Babur wrote Tujuke Babri, Baburnama, and Masnavi. So Tujuke Babri that he wrote was written in Chagtai Turkish language, remember that. And later it was translated into Persian language by Abdul Rahim Khane Khana, the stepson of Akbar. Kabul and Gandhar became integral part of Mughal Empire. And do remember that Babur was first buried in Agra, and later his body was transferred to Kabul. Today you will find his tomb in Kabul. Babur popularized the gunpowder, cavalry, and artillery in India. Gunpowder used earlier in India, but Babur popularized its use. So that was basically done, and these are some of the things that were later importantly used by the Mughals in every fight. Strengthened India's foreign trade. That is one of the things that the Babur has done. Babur introduced a new mode of warfare in India with the help of gunpowders and artilleries. Defeating Rana Sanga and Lodi, he smashed the balance of power and laid the foundation for all India Empire, that is the Mughal Empire. He had assumed the title of Padshah, and he called himself Badshah. So that is the difference between Sultan and Badshah. The kings of Mughal Empire were never called Sultan. They were called Badshah because they never took the title from the Khalifa. Because the Khalifa at that time, that was the Ottoman Empire, basically was a kind of a brother from another mother for Mughals. So they were not basically taking any kind of request or any kind of order from those Ottoman empires. And that is why the Mughals were calling themselves Badshah and not a Sultan. I hope this point is clear. So these are some of the significant things happened during the time of Babur. Let's read more about Mughal Empire and his son Humayun. So in 1530, Humayun succeeded Babur. He had to contend with the Afghans, and Gujarat's Bahadur Shah fast rise to prominence. So after the death of Babur, Babur divided the empire between his four sons, and Humayun was the eldest one, and he got the control of Agra, Delhi, and all these areas, the central region or the northern region of India. So Humayun was in kind of a contention with the Afghans, means Sher Shah Suri in one side, in the Bengal side, and in Gujarat side, Bahadur Shah was particularly taking the attack over Humayun. So these are the two things that were basically faced by Humayun in those times. At the Battle of Chausa in 1539 and Battle of Kannauj 1540, Sher Shah defeated Humayun and forced him to flee India. So basically, what was happening? So earlier in the 1530s, that is 1530 to 1535, Humayun went towards Bihar and Bengal, and he took the control of Bengal and made Sher Khan, or Sher Shah, famously known as Sher Shah Suri, the regent of these areas, and went towards Gujarat and was in dispute with the Bahadur Shah. When he was dealing with Bahadur Shah, Sher Khan or Sher Shah Suri declared himself independent. And as soon as Humayun get to know about this, so Humayun start marching towards the Bihar area, and then the Battle of Chausa was fought. Chausa, you can find this Chausa place in Bihar in today's world. And this Battle of Chausa was fought in 1539. Humayun was badly defeated by Sher Khan, and Sher Khan adopted the name Sher Shah Suri after defeating Humayun. Humayun was marching back, and Sher Shah Suri was following him and again defeated him in Kannauj, that is in UP. And finally, Humayun has to flee away from whole India and left whole India behind for Sher Shah Suri. And that is why it is written in the subheading that he was the king from 1530 to 1540 and then 1555 to 1556. Like, for Humayun was in exile from India for almost 15 years. He returned back in 1555. So he sought refuge with the Iranian monarch for a spell. Next, the disintegration of the Suri Empire, he recovered Delhi in 1555, but died the next year. So that particularly happened in that time. And if we talk about his refugee that he took, he took this refugee in the Safavid Empire. Safavid Empire was another empire in the Iranian place, and that was basically the place where who were a close friend of Mughals, and they helped Humayun in taking back this particular empire in India by sending Bairam Khan with him. So he returned to India in 1555. He fought two wars, Battle of Machhiwara and Battle of Sirhind, and again took the control of Delhi and other areas that were under his control earlier also. Humayun built a new city at Delhi, which is named at Deen Panna. I told you earlier also that a lot of kings of Delhi Sultanate also were creating a lot of different cities, like Alauddin Khilji created Siri, the fort Siri, and created the Hoj Khas and a new city called Siri. Then apart from that, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq built the Tughlaqabad city. Firoz Shah Tughlaq built the Firoz Shah Kotla Stadium. Firoz Shah Kotla fort, and other than that also the city called Firoz Shah Kotla. So in the same way, Humayun also built the city called Deen Panna. And also in this Deen Panna city, he built a library from which in 1556, after falling from the stairs, he died. Then some mosques were also built, like Zamali Mosque, and the Mosque of Isa Khan at Delhi was built. His widow Hamida Banu Begum built Humayun's tomb, that is also known as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in today's present day. Humayun's tomb is not only the tomb of Humayun, but it is the tomb of different persons who lived out throughout the Mughal era. Hamida Banu Begum was the wife of Humayun, and she was the one who gave the birth to Akbar. Humayun's sister Gulbadan Begum wrote Humayunama. She was a sister and she knew Humayun since childhood, and that is why the autobiography can only be written by her. Her name was Gulbadan Begum. The foundation for the Mughal painting was led by Humayun when he was staying in Persia. So that was done, that was a kind of a goal that was created by Humayun. He imported two artists to India, Mir Sayyid Ali and Abdul Samad, who became prominent during Akbar's rule. And that was a kind of a story of Humayun and how he got back his empire. So that was Humayun. Now let's read about Humayun's son and the most important ruler of whole Mughal empire who gave the foundation the strong strength that it required at those times. That was Babur, and he became the king at a mere age of 13. Let's read about him. And he was the king from 1556 to 1605. So he succeeded the throne after his father's father Humayun's death, and as soon as Humayun died after falling from the stairs, Akbar was at that time was in place particularly called Kalnor, that is in Punjab, and he was made the king after sitting on the throne of bricks by Bairam Khan. So Bairam Khan gave a perfect example of loyalty at that time. He defeated Hemu, that is Suri's Wazir, at the second battle of Panipat in 1556. So as soon as Humayun died, Hemu Hemchandra Vikramaditya, he started taking control of Delhi and Agra, and Akbar has to march towards Delhi. And when he was marching, so there was a second battle of Panipat fought. Akbar was at the mere age of 13, so this battle was fought between Hemu Hemchandra Vikramaditya and Bairam Khan, and that is why Hemu was defeated and killed. And this battle was decisive, and Mughal Empire was again built. And Bairam Khan and Mahamanga became the regent of Akbar from 1556 to 1560 and started a parallel government that is called a petticoat government at that time. Akbar governed under Bairam Khan's regency from 1556 until 1560. Bairam Khan was appointed Vakil of the Riyam with the title Khane Khanum, and that I already told you. And now the Battle of Haldi Ghati. So in 1560, basically Akbar attained the age of 18, and now Akbar can see that what Mahamanga and Bairam Khan are doing. So Akbar started taking control into his own hand, and he replaced first Bairam Khan, and then Mahamanga died because of his son's death. And then Akbar remained the king and a strong king starting from 1560. And from that time Akbar started taking the things into his own hand and creating a lot of particular policies in his own territory. And the most famous battle that he fought was the Battle of Haldi Ghati in 1576. Akbar defeated Rana Pratap, that is Maharana Pratap, following most of the Rajput rulers accepted Akbar's suzerainty. So basically Akbar wanted to control Gujarat, but to reach Gujarat he has to move through Rajasthan. And while he was moving from Rajasthan, he gave a particular option to all the Rajput ruler, either accept my sovereignty or either fight. So most of the Rajput rulers at that time, they've accepted the sovereignty of Akbar. But Maharana Pratap was the one who fought, and along with his father, that was Rana Uday Singh as well. So there were certain battles happened between Akbar and Uday Singh, and later Akbar and Maharana Pratap. And one of the most famous and decisive battle was Battle of Haldi Ghati, that was fought in 1576. Akbar defeated Gujarat ruler Muzaffar Shah. To commemorate this victory, he built Buland Darwaza at Fatehpur Sikri. So after particularly he defeated Rana Uday Singh and Maharana Pratap in around 1567. He moved towards Gujarat, and in 1570-1571 he defeated the Muzaffar Shah, the ruler of Gujarat. And to commemorate this victory, he built Buland Darwaza that you can find in Fatehpur Sikri. That was another capital of Akbar. So Akbar in his whole life had three capitals: Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, and Lahore. Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent, or you can say that Akbar had included the areas of Bengal and Gujarat. So most of the northern side of India was under the control of Akbar. So this was the thing that Akbar had done and created the strong foundation for the Mughal Empire for the further rulers like Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. So that was all done under Akbar. Let's read more. So, if we talk more about Akbar, so Akbar was also kind of a secular person, according to the texts, because he also banned some of the policies that were against Hindus at those times, like the pilgrim tax and jizya tax that he abolished. Like the pilgrim tax was abolished in 1563 and jizya tax was abolished in 1564. And that is why he was given the name Akbar. His real name was Jalaluddin Muhammad. And we will read more about it in the other parts of literature and other things. Let's read about Jahangir now, 1605 to 1627. So when Akbar died in 1605, Prince Salim replaced him as Jahangir. Akbar did not want Salim to be the king earlier, but Salim was kind of took the throne in his own hand after killing his son, that was Khusro, and basically at that time he took the title called Jahangir. So his son Khusro revolted but was beaten and imprisoned, and his supporter, the fifth Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev, was murdered. So the whole story was that Khusro uh, was the son of Salim, and Akbar wanted Khusro to be the king because by the time Akbar died, Khusro was also around the age of 20 or 22. So Akbar wanted him to be the king, but as we know that Akbar's direct son is Salim. So Salim, after the death of Akbar, took the throne into his own hand directly. Akbar did not appoint him, and now Khusro revolted that because he knew that Akbar wanted him to be the king. So Khusro revolted against his father Salim and went towards Lahore. While he was moving towards Lahore, he took the particularly blessings of the fifth Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev, and that is why Jahangir imprisoned Khusro first of all. Then later he also killed the fifth Sikh Guru, that was Guru Arjan Dev, and that is why later this particular community called the Sikh community, they started becoming defensive also and attacking also after the death of Guru Arjan Dev. So British visited Machilipatnam during his reign, that was Jahangir, and Captain Hawkins and Thomas Raw visited his court. Thomas Raw got the Farman for setting up an English factory at Surat. Farman was sealed by Shah Jahan. So if we talk about the advent of Europeans, so we already talked about them. So in that particular chapter, we talked about that how William Hawkins, so Captain William Hawkins came into the court of Jahangir in 1608 and he asked for the permission. The permission was not granted, but later Thomas Raw came and Captain Middleton came and they got the permission because they brought lot of surprises and gifts for Jahangir, and as well as Britishers were able to defeat the Portuguese in Battle of Swally as well, and that became one of the reasons that why these things were now under the control of Britishers. His wife Noor Jahan had influence over the state affairs, and that became one of the reasons that Noor Jahan was creating a parallel government at that time, along with his father and his mother as well. Jahangir built Zanjr-e-Adal at Agra for those seeking royal justice. So it is a kind of chain that was being particularly built by Jahangir, that you can just go and put it on, and Jahangir will come and do the justice. So that is called Zanjr-e-Adal, that was started by Jahangir. Mehtab Khan, his military commander, had revolted against him. So that was another revolt happened against Jahangir. His autobiography was Tujuke Jahangiri in Persian, and that was written by himself. That is Tujuke Jahangiri. Faced tough fight of Malik Ambar in his expeditions at Ahmednagar. That was another thing happened during his time, that Malik Ambar as particularly fought with Jahangir, and he was from Ahmednagar. Introduction of Du Asfa and Si Asfa system. It was modification to Mansabdari. Nobles were allowed to maintain a large number of troops without raising their Jat ranks. So Mansabdari was created by Akbar basically, and he had done some kind of modification in it, and Du Asfa and Si Asfa was created. So that was Jahangir basically. Let's read more. So let's read more about him. So art and architecture that happened during his time. So started decorating wall with floral designs made of semi-precious stones, Petra Dura, during his reign, because he was fond of painting. Built Moti Masjid at Lahore, played Shalimar and Nishant Gardens in Kashmir, that are the most famous one in Kashmir. The use of halo or divine lights behind king's head started under him. So if you will see the picture of Jahangir, so you will see that there is a kind of a ring, that is a brightened ring on his head. So that is the thing called halo, and you must have seen it on Jesus' head also. So he is trying to protect, portray himself as a kind of a divine thing or something. So that you can see in his arts as well. And his in his reign also there were some painters like Ustad Abul Hasan, who were the perfect artisans of those times, and lot of paintings will be dedicated to nature in those times. Then comes the Shah Jahan guys, 1628 to 1658. So Inayat Khan's Shah Jahan Nama is a song. Dara Shikho, his son, translated the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads into Persians. So Shah Jahan was the son of Jahangir, and he took the control of Mughal Empire in 1628 after he uh, particularly killed Shahryar Mirza, who took the control after Jahangir for 1 year, and Shah Jahan basically became the king in 1628 and remained till 1658. In 1628, he succeeded Jahangir and rose to the throne. So after Jahangir, Shahryar Mirza tried to control the empire, but Shah Jahan defeated him. Real name of Shah Jahan was Khurram. Then comes the Mumtaz Mahal. His adored wife died 3 years after his ascension in 1631. So basically, Mumtaz Mahal was the daughter of the brother of Noor Jahan, and Shah Jahan got in love with her, and she died basically after 3 years after the Shah Jahan became the king. In the northwest, the campaign of seize Balkh from the Uzbeks was unsuccessful, and Kandahar was lost to the Safavids during Shah Jahan's time. So these are some of the campaigns that were unsuccessful in the Shah Jahan's time. His Deccan policy was more successful. He defeated the forces of Ahmednagar and annexed it. Both Bijapur and Golconda signed a treaty with the emperor. So you can also say that Shah Jahan was the one who extended the empire towards south and controlled the areas like Ahmednagar, Golconda and Bijapur, and later appointed Aurangzeb as the governor of these areas and the governor of Deccan. The palace, army and family relocated from Agra to Shahjahabad, the freshly finished imperial capital, where Shah Jahan also created Red Fort of Delhi. It was a new addition to Delhi's historic residential city, along with the Red Fort, Jama Masjid and Chandni Chowk. So that were all created during his time, and this place is famously known as Shahjahabad. So it was another city built in Delhi. Under Shah Jahan, the salutation was Chahar Taslim and Zameen Bose kissing the earth. So these are some of the salutations. You can see the salutations in the era of Balban as well. So that was something about Shah Jahan. Let's read further. So more about him. So during his reign, war of succession among his sons broke out between Dara Shikoh, Shuja and Murad and Aurangzeb. They all were fighting among each other. And Battle of Dharmat, Battle of Samugarh, Battle of Khajwa, Battle of Diwari took place, and finally Aurangzeb emerged victorious. And the final 1658 and imprisoned Shah Jahan. His court historian Abdul Hamid Lohiri wrote Padshah Nama, that is written for Shah Jahan. So he was imprisoned in 1658 and remained in Red Fort for a certain period of time. So that was the end of Shah Jahan, somewhere the end of Shah Jahan. Now let's read the architectures that he built. So in 1632 to 1633, he built the Taj Mahal to honor his wife Mumtaz Mahal, and basically it took around 21 years to build this Taj Mahal. So it was completed around in 1653. Agra's Moti Masjid, completely made of white marble, Sheesh Mahal and Musamman Burj. These are also were made by Shah Jahan. Red Fort with its Rang Mahal, Diwan-e-Aam and Diwan-e-Khas at Delhi were built, and Peacock Throne was also established. Jama Masjid in Delhi, Red Stone, Shalimar Bagh in Lahore, and city of Shahjahanabad were built by him. The Pitra Dura method was used on large scale in the Taj Mahal by Shah Jahan, that was started by Jahangir. I hope you remember. So all these things happened during the time of Shah Jahan. Then come the Aurangzeb, very important, 1658 to 1707. But remember, the time period of Akbar is larger than him. So Masir 1 Alamgiri book written by Mustaid Khan throws light on Aurangzeb's rule. And Aurangzeb was basically known as the person who is taken the control after killing all his brothers and imprisoned his father. And Aurangzeb was the last strong ruler of Mughals. So he took the name Alamgir, world conqueror. Zinda Pir was his name because he used to live a simple life. That is why he was called Zinda Pir. During his rule, the Mughal Empire expanded to encompass practically the whole Indian subcontinent. So during the early phase of Aurangzeb, that was the phase that Mughal Empire was on peak. The GDP was way too large. Lot of Hindu particular nobles were also in his court. But after that, lot of people started revolted against him because he became lot more religious and strongly religious. So let's read more about him. So later Mughals and decline of Mughals. So let's read about them as well. So a war of succession broke out among the sons when Father Aurangzeb died in 1707. Muazzam emerged victorious after defeating Muhammad Azam Shah in the Battle of Jajau, and that is why he became the king. And after Aurangzeb, Bahadur Shah first became the king. He adopted the name Bahadur Shah first. So that was after Aurangzeb. And successor of Aurangzeb, let's read about them. So important rulers and important events held in those particular kings. These are called later Mughals. So Muazzam, that was famously known as Bahadur Shah I. He remained the king from 1707 to 1712. Hindus are more accepting. Jizya was never abolished, but it was not properly enforced. Marathas, Sardesh Mukhi of Deccan was granted, but Chauth was not. And Mughal historians such as Khafi Khan bestowed the title Shah-e-Bekhabar on him. That is a kind of a title because he was more into the fascinating things than controlling the empire. Then comes the Jahandar Shah, 1712 to 1713. So introduced Izaraha, revenue farming, and became emperor with the help of Zulfikar Khan, later became PM. To foster amicable ties with the Marathas and Rajputs, he abolished Jizya. So if you remember, I told you earlier that he was the one who completely abolished Jizya tax, and that was in 1712. Bestowed the title of Sardesh Mukhi and Chauth of Deccan on Shahu, and bestowed the title of Mirza Raj Savai on Jaising of Amber and Maharaja on Ajit Singh. So you can clearly see that now the later Mughals, what they are doing basically is to give more authority to the different kingdoms and feudal states, and they were all themselves, they were becoming a kind of a pensioners or a kind of a landowner only. Then come Farooq Shiar, 1713 to 1719, abolished Jizya completely. Again, the Jizya was completely abolished in certain other reasons as well. Then puppet of Sayyid brothers, very important. Sayyid brothers were the one who particularly were responsible for putting Farooq Shiar on the throne. Abdul Khan and Hassan Ali, known as kingmakers. Then policy of religious tolerance abolished Jizya and pilgrimage tax. gave Farman to British in 1717, famously known as the Dastak that he gave, because of which Britishers gained lot of wealth. Then dethroned by Sayyid brothers himself. So that was Farrukh Shiar. Some more successors. So then came the Rafi ud Darazat, ruled for the shortest period of time among the Mughals. Remember his name? Even his time period was not given. Then Muhammad Shah Rangila, very important guys. He remained from 1719 to 1748. Autonomous states emerged during his reign, like Deccan, Nizam ul Mulk. Hyderabad was independent. Sadat Khana, Awadh became independent. Murshid Quli Khan, Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha became independent. Then Nadir Shah invaded India and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739. He also stole the legendary peacock throne, the Kohinoor diamond. The Battle of Karnal happened in that time in 1739. He became the king with the assistance of the Sayyid brothers and then assassinated them with the assistance of Nizam ul Mulk. So Sayyid brothers who were gaining a power in those times were finally killed by the Muhammad Shah Rangila. Then Ahmad Shah Abdali also raided Delhi for the first time during his reign. That was the king of Durrani Empire. Then Ahmad Shah, 1748 to 1754, Muhammad Shah Rangila's only son, was incompetent ruler, left the state affairs in the hands of Uddam Bai. She was given the title of Qibla-e-Alam. So that was the name given to Uddam Bai, and Ahmad Shah was ruled for 6 years. Then Alamgir II, 1754 to 1759, Battle of Plassey happened during his reign. That was in 1757. Then Shah Alam II, Ali Gauhar, 1759 to 1806. And during his reign, the third battle of Panipat was fought in 1761 between Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali. And along with Mir Qasim and Shuja Uddaula, he took the part in the Battle of Buxar, 1764, against the British East India. And company was beaten and compelled to sign the Treaty of Allahabad, 1765. Which awarded the company Diwani of Bengal. So he gave the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha to the Britishers and became the pensioners of the English. Let's read more. So some other important rulers were like Akbar II, and that was from 1806 to 1837, gave Ram Mohan Roy the title of Raja because he took the letter of him to the British monarch so that his pension can be increased. Then the introduced Hindu-Muslim Unity Festival, Fool Walon Ki Sair. So that was done by Akbar II. And the last Mughal ruler was Bahadur Shah II, also known as Bahadur Shah Zafar, 1837 to 1857. He was the last Mughal emperor, was an Urdu poet using Zafar as his pen name, and participated in the revolt of 1857, after which he was deported to Rangoon and died. And his sons were killed, and he was captured from the Humayun's tomb. Let's read further. Reasons of the declines of Mughal. So after Aurangzeb, there was a lack of stability, as I was saying. They were always fighting and they started becoming pensioners more and more landowners than the king. The majority of emperors were puppets in the hands of strong nobles who frequently administered government on their behalf. Wheel military and political administration as exposed by Nadir Shah and Ahmad Abdali invasions. Nadir Shah was from Iran, Ahmad Abdali was from Afghanistan, that is Durrani Empire. And already I told you that the kings were becoming puppets. Emergence of autonomous states and hence weakening of central power, and that is one of the reasons that Mughals were declining. And orthodoxy policy of Aurangzeb. His attitude towards Marathas, Rajputs and Jats made them his enemy, and his religious policies too alienated the Hindus. That is why, as I told you earlier, that Aurangzeb early phase or starting of his kingship was good phase. Later, when he was against all of them, so they all started revolting, and that became one of the reasons that Mughal Empire started becoming weak, even during the time of Aurangzeb. So these are some of the basic reasons, and let's discuss further. And that's it in this session, guys. So I hope you get to know a lot of things related to the Mughals, regarding their architectures, regarding their rule, regarding their rise, regarding their fall. In the next session we will meet, we will discuss more about them and further lot about medieval history. And till the time we meet, bye bye, take care everyone, and see you soon.